their performance today. Again, no points off of turnovers, the red zone defense, the turnover that we did create, all those things were huge part of the game. And again, Toriano literally didn't know he was going to have to go play like that until we walked in the locker room. And so really proud of him and how he stepped up. Special teams, the kick by Whites, the two kicks were actually good kicks. I mean, the 51-yarder, plenty of leg. It was actually a really good kick. There was a little wind up there, might have pushed it just a hair left, but it was a great effort there, and I had confidence he could go make that. But the kick that he did make was a huge difference in the game down the stretch, because it's a 5-point game instead of a 2-point game. So really proud of him. And then offensively, again, the first half just so frustrating. Field position, we had some miscues. Obviously, the turnover was just incredibly frustrating. But to come out in the second half, and we rushed for 200 plus yards, but to rush for 167 yards and a half, it's just a really gritty win. And a great job by OL, by Phil, by Shipley, really setting the tone. I wish we could have got a touchdown there on that open drive, but that was a great drive, and coming away with points was very important for us right there. And just a very gritty win. Cade was excellent as well with his legs. He had about almost 50 yards rushing. So that was just a tough, hard-fought game against a tough, gritty Wake Forest team coming off an open date. I knew they would be a tough out today, and we didn't make it any easier, again, with the opportunities and field position issues that we had. But again, just got to find a way to win some of these games. Our guys did that. Excited about being where we are right now as we head into kind of halftime of the season, if you will. We've got a lot of guys that it's a big week for us coming up. I mean, I know we don't play a game next week, but it's a huge week for us, as a team, and getting healthy, and also just improving on some things, studying ourselves, and getting a head start on the next opponent. But a great win. Really, thankful for our crowd again, and thankful for these guys and how they competed and found a way.
What happened with Sheridan?
Well, he just started having some headaches, and so he just was feeling kind of sick and nauseous, on the bus ride over, and his head was hurting, and he couldn't even hardly look at the sun. So they took him to evaluate him, and so they're running some tests on him, and it's really all I know right now. So that was, literally, after we walked through the Tiger Walk, I get hit with that news. So hats out for Toriano and for Avion and those guys being ready. Again, you sit in the meetings, you're in the practice field, and sometimes you may play, you may not, but you got to be ready for your opportunity. And it was good to see Pride take advantage of his opportunity today. He made some huge plays. He had some big time PBUs, some tight coverage. He played clean, and it was hopefully a game that'll really boost his confidence. And he made some really good physical tackles too.
Coach, I was going to say, talking about the milestone win for you, tying Coach Howard. I mean, it seems every time we get to Wake Forest, your career's intertwined with them, and now you've reached this milestone. It's got to be special.
Yeah, I think the last time they scored 12 points, I think I became the head coach the next week. So I remember that well, and I did not know. Tim was telling me that I guess Coach Howard's he tied the record, I think, against Wake Forest, and so the same thing. So just kind of crazy, and and I know that that's one of those things that people want to talk about, and I know we've had a couple questions this week on it, and it's really not something that I really want to spend a lot of time talking about. I know I need to talk about it, and the significance of it is not lost on me, but I just there's a couple things I would say, and that I think I need to say, and then hopefully we can just move on. But the first thing I would say is, man, it's just a blessing to be a part of it. And most of all, it's a reflection of all the great players, the coaches, the support staff that we've had. And most of all, it's a reflection of the team. And really, really everything great that I've accomplished in life has come through team. You know, I certainly have tried to do my part, but you know, I truly have you know, stood on the shoulders of giants. I mean, and it's just a blessing to be a part of it. Again, so many great players, so many coaches, our support staff, my family, our administration. You know, it's a blessing, and then it's surreal. I was talking to Mark Herzlich about it. Ironically, he's doing the game today. I was actually talking to him in my office yesterday. It's just so surreal to me to even really process the whole thing, because to me it feels like yesterday that we were loading up to go to BC to try to just win a game. It's just trying to win a game. I mean, that literally seems like yesterday to me. And then honestly, it's just I can honestly tell you, it's not something that I ever dreamed about or ever set out to do. You know, I dream about a lot of things. This wasn't one of them. I never set out to do that. Never even dreamed about doing that. I've just always just tried to put my head down and just keep showing up and just doing my best, you know, one day at a time. And my main goal was and has always been to build a program that competed with uncommon consistency, and a program that built great men, you know, through the platform of football and education. And listen, the win record is cool to be a part of, for sure, but I always say, what matters more than anything is how you win. And that's what I'm most proud of, is how we've won at Clemson. I'm most proud of the 351 graduates that we've had. I'm most proud of the 98% graduation rate that we've had. I'm most proud of the fact that every young man that has come to Clemson, since I've been the head coach, has had an opportunity through our program to equip themselves as men. They've had that opportunity. And I'm also proud of the fact that every signing that we've had, every single one of them has won a championship. Most of them multiple. I'm really thankful for that. And Coach Howard, as we all know around here, Coach Howard is a Clemson legend, and it doesn't matter how many wins that I may have or finish up here with. There ain't ever going to be another Coach Howard, ever. I mean, he is Clemson, and man, I'm just blessed again because of what he did at Clemson. And I'm blessed because of what all the other coaches after him did, especially Coach Ford, and you know, and Coach Ford kind of knocking the ceiling off the program, if you will. And I'm just a benefactor of all those that have come before me. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Some people may, but I don't. That of all the coaches in America, I met Frank Howard when I was probably 10, 11 years old at my mom's birthday party at a Holiday Inn. He came to, my dad rented out a party room at the Hoover Holiday Inn. It was big time back in those days to go to the party room at the Holiday Inn. And in comes Frank Howard with Bobby Hayes. Bobby Hayes and Frank Howard were big friends, great buddies. Bobby Hayes was the head of the SWAT team in Birmingham. And you know, back in those days, Alabama always played in Legion Field, especially the Alabama-Auburn game. Even when I first started playing, we played Legion Field. And Frank Howard would always come to that game after Big Thursday in those days. And Bobby Hayes was good friends with my mom and dad. And he would give my dad tickets and my mom. And I don't think it's a coincidence that I met him or that my mom and dad, they had dinner with Frank Howard multiple times. Multiple times. I've got a picture in my office. A couple of y'all have seen it, I think. I got a picture in my office of my mom and dad having dinner with Frank Howard in Birmingham at Pat James Restaurant. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't think that's a coincidence. I cherish that picture. And there's also no doubt in my mind that God orchestrated all that. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that God called me to Clemson. That's no coincidence to me. And so it's been my calling in life, and it's been God's favor on my life to just have the opportunity to be here. And I also don't think it's a coincidence that Coach Howard got his last win on November 1. And I got my first win on November 1. And I was born November 20th, 1969, 2 days before Coach Howard coached his last game on November 22nd, 1969. So that was almost 54 years ago. And 15 years ago next Friday, I was named the interim head coach. And all I can tell you is it has been an amazing experience. And, this record is just shared by everybody who's been on this journey and been a part of it for the last 15 plus years. It's just that simple. And I'm 53 now, but I still feel like I'm 40, and I know I still got a lot of years ahead of me. And I'm just thankful for our fans as well, for all their support, for providing us the best, without a doubt, the best home environment in college football. I really appreciate our fans because they've been a huge part of this. And then finally, I want to say thank you to Tommy Bauer, for bringing me to Clemson, to Terry Don Phillips, to President Barker, our board of trustees, for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to work at a great university like Clemson. There's not many people out there that get to work at a place like this for as long as I've been able to work at it. And I'm just really thankful for that and all the people that have been involved. But most of all, I'm just forever grateful to all the young men that chose to be all in and help build what I think is the model player development program in all of college football, and one of the most historically consistent programs in all of college football. So I'm just so thankful for them, and I know we got many more great moments ahead, and for everybody who's been involved in it, I love all of you, and just, onward we go. And and again, just hopefully I'm here a long time and we win a lot of games, but to me, Coach Howard, he's the guy that set the tone here at Clemson University, and I'm just thankful to have a platform and a foundation to work on that he put in place here through his commitment, his loyalty, his sacrifice, and all the players and coaches that worked alongside him. So great day, and proud of our guys for finding a way to get a win.
Coach, I think Shipley had 86 rush yards in the second half. You said that at halftime, Coach Spiller told him to be a little bit more patient with his runs. Seemed to do the trick.
Yeah, we just needed to kind of reset and refocus on some stuff, and then we need to get him the ball. I think he only had 4 carries maybe in the first half, and again, we were behind the chains, and the field position was really bad. We just miscued on some opportunities. It was frustrating. But hey, we settled in. That's why he played 4 quarters. And, we were able to really get that run game going and lean on it in the second half, make some plays in the passing game as well, just enough to find a way to win the game.
Dabo, what's the thinking on the 51-yard field goal? Supposedly, you said, I think you brought Whites in for the shorter stuff. Do you not have anybody you think can make those? Is he making them in practice?
Yep.
Okay, and you feel good about that going forward? With a few weeks, would you consider some open tryouts if there's a kid on campus that could do that?
No, we've got our roster set, and we're confident with the people that we have on the roster. But no, he's about 53. That's probably his range, and the confidence comes from practice. I mean, he really hit it good. I mean, it's tough field goal, but it was a good kick, a good effort, and just was a little left, but he had plenty of leg, and so that thinking was, hey, he can make it, and I've seen him make it in practice, so just came up a little short, but. Robert Gunn has not kicked in 2 weeks. He's been battling he's only kicked on game day for the last couple ball games. He's not kicked at all during practice. He's not kicked a single field goal. So we've been trying to just rest his leg. He's been having a little inflammation in his thigh, and he's been sore, but he's just been showing up on game day and bombing it. So he's a guy that, he can make it for about as far as you want, but he's got to get back in the competition. We're not going to run him out there until he gets back to practice, and he's got to go win the job back. So, but Whitesey's done a nice job, and again, made a big kick today, and a good effort on the 51-yard, for sure.
I think all of White's misses have been left. When he misses in practice, or have they been left, or?
A little bit of both, a little bit of both.
On that exchange, what happened?
Just poor ball handling.
Club.
We'll see it on tape, we'll see it on tape, but, it's period. It's on your quarterback, and it's what we do every day, so, we've got lots of critical error, so.
Coach,
Gotta be cleaner.
Coach, you got that week off coming up. How do you plan on using that to your advantage? And second of all, did you wake up and want to twin with me this morning?
Say it again. Did I wake up and what?
Did you wake up and want to twin with me this morning with a pink blazer?
Did Twitter with you?
Twin.
No, twin. Oh, I thought you said Twitter. I was like, I don't like Twitter. Yeah, I wanted to twin with you today. Exactly. So great. Mine was from Belk about 6 years ago or so, but still going strong. I'm missing a few buttons though. I realize that. I apologize for that. I have to get some more buttons sewed on there. I don't even remember what your question was. What was it?
Your week off.
Oh, the week off. Yeah. Well, there's a lot. It's a big week. Again, I look at, we need to beat Open this week, and so there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of self-scout. Obviously, you want to get a head start for the next opponent, and do a lot of crossover work. And utilize all your staff from a defensive standpoint and offensive standpoint to really study. You see what the opponent sees and see if you can help each other out. So that's a part of it. And then both from an opponent scout and a self-scout, we'll do a little bit of that crossover stuff. And then we want to get healthy. Obviously, there's a huge opportunity for us to get some guys healthy. Putnam played his 3,000th snap today. How about that? Unbelievable. So, we'll take advantage of getting, obviously Nate and Antonio didn't play today. They're both really close, and so this is huge for them. And just guys, your game, this is week 7, plus you've had, a long camp. So it's just a lot that these guys have been through. So a chance to physically help them, and then hopefully mentally advance a little bit, I think is our objective. And then, by the time we get to next Monday, it's not a typical game week. You're way ahead, and so hopefully that can be something that will be to our advantage as we, go into that next game.
Coach, defensively, and you talked about how great that unit was all day long. It really seemed like the closer their backs were to the wall, the more they ramped it up. The turnover early, then they just shut Wake Forest down inside the 10-yard line, and then in the second half, you feel like you've got to stop on 3rd and long, and you get a tough call right there that keeps that drive alive. But those guys, it's like they didn't blink, and they just came right back. They stopped them again, held it to a field goal, and that really just kind of allowed the rest of the team to breathe and reset things. So where does that fire and intensity from that side of the ball come from on those guys?
Well, I think it goes back to preparation. Our coaches, they did a great job of preparing the guys, and we've gotten better each week. Those guys are really developing. One of the areas that we definitely need to improve from game 1 to now is points off turnovers. Bad things happen, right? That's why you sign up to play defense. Bad things happen. So, let's try to minimize touchdowns in the red zone. And, that was a huge, huge part of the day today. The stop was massive at the start of the game. To get no points right there, it's huge. And so I'm really proud of them for that. And then just, details in what we do. 230-something yards. And again, most of it came on that last drive. We had a couple of tough calls go against us today. That, sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. It was a tough day in that regard, but I'm proud of them. Again, that just shows growth, it shows belief, it shows preparation. There were some big-time plays. I thought Barrett Carter, he made a couple of one-on-one tackles in space that were awesome. Our guy was just better than their guy. And again, we made a lot of competitive plays on the ball, which is something we did not do against this team last year. We hit the quarterback, we got some pressure on him. We tried to not let it be a slow mesh. We tried to make it be a fast mesh by trying to, get some push up front. And, we made some adjustments with our pressure, initially kind of keeping the safeties. We were slow playing those guys, trying to make them give it off, and we were a little late there a couple times, but we ended up pressuring a little bit. We got control of the run game. So just a lot of good things, but just how they responded. You know, I mean, you know, you had the touchdown, I mean, the first turnover, and then the punt return after you get a big stop, right? You got a huge stop, and you know, you have this, you're going to get good field position, and then now all of a sudden you got to go right back out there and play. And we have, you know, tough call. So I'm proud of them. I really am. It was a great day. Probably the worst thing we did was the last drive, and we had a tough penalty on that one too. That was a pretty easy call, but I'm really proud of them. They competed their butts off, and I'm proud of our staff. I mean, they've done a heck of a job. That's a really good group over there, you know, playing at a high level for us. And again, some of our best players weren't even out there, and they continue to play well.
Coach Tyler.
Yeah, but can you give an update on Jalen? And also, how close were Wiggins and Williams playing?
Lucas, talking about Lucas?
No, Jalen Phillips.
JP.
Oh, JP, he'll be all right. I mean, he's been kind of just battling something, same thing. I think I said Jaden. He's been, he should be all right. I think the biggest thing is we'll see what's going on with Sherry and how close was Nate and Antonio. Pretty close. We dressed them out, you know. So they're pretty close. I think both of those guys will be ready to roll when we head down to Miami.
Coach Tyler has been so great this season. Had a rough one today,
Yeah.
especially in the kicking game, but
Yeah.
he bounced back later with the big catch.
He did. And you know, I mean, that's football, right? I mean, he's been a rock all year, and he's made so many great plays for us. And but, you know, you play this game long enough, you have a day that you want to forget. But I was proud of him for bouncing back. He had to go back out there and catch a punt, and then he also had the key play there in the fourth quarter. So he'll be fine. It's important to him. He cares a lot. He's got a lot of character to him. He'll bounce back.
Guys, any themes in terms of the struggles offensively in the first half? Anything?
Not really. We just didn't do the little things well. You know, 3rd and 2, we don't get the double team done. Just basic stuff. You know, we turned the ball over. We had a drop. So just some of the basic things we didn't get done. And then again, just, you know, behind the chains and poor field position, we didn't stay on schedule.
Coach, I know that last year you mentioned was a high-scoring double OT game up there in Winston-Salem today, kind of an old-school Frank Howard-like low-scoring game. What are your takes on how the last 2 meetings have gone against the Deacons? As you mentioned, just you always seem to be tagged with them in some crazy way.
Well, I'm just glad we won. You know, I mean, we got, what, there's 51 to 45, 51 to 45, or 17 to 12. Is that what it was today? Hey, they all count the same, and I'm just thankful that we got the win. And listen, they do a great job at Wake Forest. They really do. Coach Clausen always has his guys ready, and again, they got an open date to get ready for us. So you know, there's going to be it's going to be a really healthy football team rolling in there, and you know, they did some good stuff. But it's a 4-quarter game, and I thought we took it over in the second half, offensively and defensively.
Coach, how nice is it to have a guy like Hamp Green on your hands team?
Yeah. Ham was captain for us today, and you know, he's a guy we trust. I mean, we put him back there on punt return as well. We trust him. He's a sure-handed guy and a gritty guy. So you know, it's good to, you know, we work that every week. You know, every Thursday we work our, you know, we take 2 or 3 minutes and we just catch onside kicks every single week. That's what we do, and you know, it's good to see us go out and win the game. Put us in position, you know, and really, we didn't really win the game. I mean, they had 3 timeouts, and so when you've got 3 timeouts, the opponent really can only take about 15 seconds off the clock if you don't get a first down. So to be able to run the ball the way we did in that situation, when they absolutely have to get the ball back, and they got 3 timeouts, and we're able to make them use all their timeouts, get the first down, and finish the game, that was my favorite part of the day from an offensive standpoint. When we had to have it, we had the will to finish.
You said to agree to disagree. I guess what did you see on the Jeremiah Trotter penalty?
I mean, you know, I'll probably get in trouble if I go into all that, so I'll just plead the fifth on it. But, you know, I think, you know, I'll plead the fifth on it.
Do y'all almost coach, I think Bruce said post-game, you coach the guys that, well, once the ball's to a certain point, kind of just lay off the quarterback. How do y'all kind of coach? I know that's a big point of emphasis, that play.
Well, I mean, their offense makes it difficult because, I mean, it's a how we doing, what's the score? Who we watching? Got an update?
Sure.
No, I mean, it's an RPO offense, and it's a you know, a lot of you know, almost jump pop passes, right? And so, you know, I thought he was in the air, and we kind of caught him there, and it's, you know, it's a very difficult situation, you know, as opposed to if you're dropping back, right, and you finish a guy. But so tough break against us right there, and that's football. But you know, everybody understands the rule, and probably all of them say that.
First impressions without watching the film, how do you think Harrisville and Mitchell Mays performed today?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I didn't really hear anything negative. I know we had a penalty. I think Harris had a penalty. But, you know, you rush for 167 yards in 2 quarters, you probably did some good stuff. So we'll see when we evaluate the tape before I kind of give a final comment on that. But 200 plus yards rushing and 167 in 2 quarters. And when we had to have it, we got it done. You know, I was proud of getting, we got the big 4th down there as well. Got that one, a big gritty yard. But we'll see.
I think Kate said that Wade plays a lot more off coverage, so it made it harder to get down the field vertical shots.
Yeah.
Is that something you knew coming in?
Yeah, that's just kind of, you know, they play a lot of catch technique. I've heard them talk about that earlier in the week. You know, and they'll do a good job of sitting back about 10 yards and, you know, just trying to keep everything underneath them, but then they'll also cloud it, you know, from there and make you think that it's a soft coverage, but it's really a hard coverage, you know, based on how they structurally roll their safeties and such. So they do a nice job. They do a really good job, and so we needed to get the run game going. I mean, we had to, especially with some of the 2 safety looks, and then they tried to pressure us as well, and we hit some nice plays. None bigger than that 4th down to Bo. I think it was Bo on their sideline. They went cover 0, and we had a little Oscar routes, and I mean, it was a great throw and catch. I thought Bo had a heck of a day today. He made some big plays, except one. That was a critical miss, an easy play. Just tried to run, and it was there. We felt like we had it up and had a great chance to get the first on that play, but that was a miss. I thought Bo did a nice job. And you know, structurally, we did what we needed to do in the second half. First half, not so much.
Take a couple more for Coach.
Another forced fumble by Khalil today. I know he had a great spring, but did you expect him to have as big an impact this year as he has?
Yeah, I did. After watching him through the spring, and then watching him, you know, just being around him in the summer, just who he is and how mature he is, and watching him in camp, yeah. We expected him to be a dude for us. And, you know, just like we thought Tyler Brown, we didn't get Tyler until the summer. But after going through the camp and everything with him, we're like, okay, this kid's going to help us right out of the gate. He's ready. And so he has. Khalil, we just had a chance to be around a lot longer since January.
Dabo, have you seen something different in your offense in how they've responded to some of this adversity since that first game in Duke, in-game adaptability and response from them?
Well, I think you saw it last week up at Syracuse for sure. When we had, you know, the critical turnover, right? Here, you know, that fluky play, here it comes. When Brenny got hit the ball, and there goes the ball. And, man, they responded. They came right back. And, you know, so I think that's part of it. I think they're just maturing. They're just growing. We've got a quarterback that's a really good player, and you know he's just like on the exchange. I mean, that's a very frustrating, disappointing play, but you know you just keep playing. And he missed one too. He missed one early. We had I think it was Tyler Brown. We had him wide open, I mean, wide open, and he just, you know, missed him. I don't know if he didn't have his feet set or what, but, because he don't miss many. So it's just good to kind of see him push through, you know, and, you know, I just think they're just growing and maturing. I mean, we beat Charleston Southern. I think we lost the turnover margin against them, right? So to win a game and lose the turnover margin, that's a pretty good step for this bunch, because that has been our Achilles heel this year against good teams. And again, 2 games that we dominated the statistics, right? We had almost 500 yards against Duke, and, you know, had great stats against Florida State, but there's nothing that equalizes the game more than the turnover margin, and we weren't able to overcome it in those games, and today we were. So just hopefully that just shows a little more mental toughness, and then defensively, you know, no points off the turnovers was the biggest difference.
Take one more, Coach.
We're talking about your career. It must have been nice to see a couple of your guys get some wins around the country. Brent had a big win today.
Yes,
Tony
yeah. Did Tony win?
Yeah, Tony won it, but went through.
Good, that's
You know.
awesome. Yeah, I'm proud. Yeah, I got to see T-Bone down in the locker room because I didn't know what happened. So till after our game, so I'm super happy for Brent. That's obviously a huge win. Got a long way to go, but it's, you know, I mean, that's one of those wins that, you know, early, especially in your coaching career, you need a win like that to kind of take the next step, you know, with your guys, and so it's awesome. Super. I don't know again how it all played out, but I literally. T-Bone was kind of filling me in a little bit in the locker room, so I'm really happy for them. And then, who did Tony then play today?
It was William and Mary.
Hey, man. Hey, I'm glad they got a dub. So good for him, and happy for those guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you
Coach.
all.
Thanks, Dabo.